It's not whether or not you grind, because the grind is inevitable. It's how you grind and why you grind. Welcome to McBain Moments. So, as is my idiom, I watch a lot of YouTube videos on personal development and success and things like that. I'm sure you can figure that out because I make these videos on motivation and trying to, from the standpoint of someone who's still figuring this crap out, trying to not regurgitate but synthesize that information and put it out in a way that I understand it. And so, you know, as an Entropia Universe player, it's probably the grindiest game in existence, which is good because I really enjoy it, believe it or not. I'm always considering the grind, right? We grind every day. We grind at our jobs, we grind in our games, we grind in life. That's just the way it is. Life is grindtastic. It is what it is. But it's not about whether or not you grind. The grind is inevitable. And this is something that occurred to me while I was working because my job, like all jobs, is a grind. And so I was thinking about it as I was grinding. In this case, I was sending out emails, and I was grinding out the emails because it's a lot of repetition, a lot of having to double check and make sure I didn't screw anything up. But it's a lot of repetition, and I was just looking at the grind, and I'm like, well, the grind's inevitable. It doesn't matter what job you do. Whether you're working in retail, or you're in sales, or if you are a teacher, or it doesn't matter. Because most jobs are a lot of repetition. You make 300 phone calls a day, or you handle 300 customers that walk through the door, or you've got 20 students that you work with every single day, and then you repeat, rinse, repeat, right? That's the MMO watchword, rinse and repeat, because you just do the same thing over and over, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because the more you rinse and repeat, the better you get at it, and so you build that skill up. That makes the grind easier and also increases the amount of money you can make. And so it processed in my mind that it wasn't the fact that you grind, but what's the goal you have in grinding. And so that's what it comes down to, is what is your goal? What are you looking to accomplish in your job, in your work? Or not even in your job, in your life. You know, what is it I'm looking to accomplish in my life? And that was kind of an epiphany, because I never thought of it that way before. That you have to reframe the question. And once I reframed the question from, oh God, I got to grind every day, to why am I grinding, to what goal do I have in grinding? What is my end point? And when I thought about the end point, and I wrote it down very specifically, I wrote down the end point, and I'm like, oh, see, there is a point in this grind. So now I've got my end point. I know where I want to go, and I know where I'm at. Now I'm trying to figure out how much grinding do I have to do to get there, and what actions can I take in that interim to maybe make that grind just a little bit less grindy. And sometimes that's what it takes. So, and it doesn't matter what the goal is, whether the goal is to develop a skill or to accumulate money or just be able to retire at 65. Good luck with that, by the way. It doesn't matter what the goal is, as long as the actions you take push you toward that goal. And if the actions you're taking aren't pushing you toward the goal you have, then you're doing the wrong things. And I've got to review with myself, because I've had days where I do the wrong things, and I realize what I did not push me toward my goal. And that brings me back to doing the channel and things like this, because one of those goals is to develop an active YouTube channel with an active community. As of the filming of this video, I've got 92 subscribers, which is awesome. I would like to see that grow. I'm still holding out hope for 100 subs by the end of June, but if I don't make it, that's fine. I just have to figure out what more I have to do. And then, of course, the website and all that stuff. That's all part of my overarching goal. And the goal's written down. I'm not going to read it off because it's like a page and a half long. But I've got it in my blue notebook, which I've shown on McBain Moments before, and that's something I would encourage you to do. We're not just talking about the 9 goals I've got on the door for this year. We're talking the overarching meta goal. What is my 10-year plan? And you should have one. And it should be difficult to reach. There's a theory that says that your ultimate goal should be not necessarily be reachable, which actually shocked me, and I was reminded of this recently. I know I had heard of it about like a year ago or something, but I had forgotten about it. It's like your biggest goal should be one you never expect to reach, because you will always have a reason to keep pushing. And those are the people who really get the furthest. The people who have a goal that's so big, there's a very small chance of them accomplishing it, but it pushes them to keep going. And that's kind of the opposite framework that I normally operate in, because for me, coming from a place where I literally had nothing, it was always, what is an accomplishable goal? What is an achievable goal within a reasonable time frame? And I continue to do that. And having those interim goals is always important, because you're not going to make this goal if you can't stack the ladder. It's all about stacking that ladder and grinding the space between the rungs. And so I'm still figuring this out. I'm still working on this. But as I work on this, I want to share with you some of the things that come to my mind. And as that happens, more of these McBain moments will come out. And I would like to hear from you on what you deal with on a day-to-day basis. What is the purpose of your grind? Do you even have an overarching goal? And if you do, have you written it down yet? And if you haven't, why not? Because without a goal, we're just spinning our wheels. If we don't have a purpose in grinding, we're grinding for the sake of grinding, and we're not going to get anywhere. I mean, sure, we'll get somewhere, but what's retirement on a fixed income in 20 years? I guess for me it's still about 32. I'm 35. Conceivably, I can retire at 67, which I don't buy, not in today's environment. So it's more likely going to be 75, and which is fine, because the life expectancy of a millennial right now is over 100. But it's just one of those things where if you don't know where you're going, how the hell are you ever going to get there? Take a minute and think about it. This has been a McBain moment.